Hey, welcome to a new video. Many people look forward to going on vacation every year. They decide to look for a safe place with tropical temperatures and where there are plenty of activities and things to do. But there's also a lot of places on Earth where you shouldn't go. Some of them are so dangerous that it could cost you your life. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. The Skeleton Coast, located in the northwest of Namibia, is renowned for its treacherous conditions and owes its name to the numerous shipwrecks. The area is considered highly dangerous, and it's strongly discouraged to explore it alone. It comprises a barren and inhospitable coastal strip characterized by treacherous sand dunes, dense fog, unpredictable weather patterns, powerful ocean currents, and ice-cold ocean water. Additionally, it's known for its shipwrecks, the silent witnesses of vessels succumbing to the ruthless waters and harsh conditions of the area. The wreckage, sharp rocks, and shifting sandbanks create hazardous obstacles to navigate and can lead to further accidents for those attempting to explore the area. The Skeleton Coast is home to a diverse range of wildlife, including seals, jackals, hyenas, and even elephants. One of the greatest dangers of this area is its extreme isolation. Vast areas devoid of human habitation and limited human presence mean that if something goes wrong, help can be far away and difficult to reach. The Utaklev Beach in Norway is called the most romantic beach in Europe. At night, you can admire the aurora borealis from the beach. In addition, the area has beautiful coastlines and a vast grassland where you can stay overnight at a campsite. So at first, it doesn't really look like a dangerous beach, but since it's located near the Lofoten Islands, north of the Arctic Circle, you can therefore guess that it's incredibly cold there. The weather here is very fickle, but the average temperature fluctuates between 46 and 57 degrees Fahrenheit, or 8 and 14 degrees Celsius, all year round. So it's not really advisable to swim here because of the risk of hypothermia. If you do want to visit this place, make sure you bring a coat. In the sacred valley of the Incas in Peru, there's a ruin called Nuapa Iglesia that is thought to have been built thousands of years ago with technology far beyond our comprehension. You can find this site in the Peruvian Andes near Cusco. The geometry shows a deep understanding of astronomy and vibration. The geometry is even associated with the Great Pyramids of Egypt. According to Andrean tradition, the Napas are inhabitants of the spirit world. An encounter with them is considered extremely dangerous. So what is so strange and dangerous about the Nuapa Iglesia lies within it. When you first step inside, you feel a strange and inexplicable energy. And carved into the side of the millennia-old cave is what is called a dimensional gate, pointing toward the Milky Way. According to legend, your body goes through a gate first, followed by your soul. Erta Al is an active shield volcano located in the remote far region of Ethiopia. It's known for its persistent lava lake, making it a fascinating yet extremely hazardous destination. Erta Al is one of the very few volcanoes on Earth with a continuously active lava lake. The molten lava, combined with the unpredictable nature of volcanic eruptions, poses a constant risk to anyone in the vicinity. Sudden changes in lava flow, gas emissions, and explosive eruptions can occur without warning, posing a significant threat to personal safety. In the vicinity of the lava lake, temperatures can soar extraordinarily high, and this intense heat carries a risk of severe burns and overheating for those who venture too close. Furthermore, the volcano emits toxic gases, including sulfur dioxide, which can cause respiratory problems and other health issues. The terrain around Erta Al is characterized by rugged and unstable ground. The crater rim can be hazardous to navigate due to its steep edges, loose volcanic rocks, and the potential for collapse. The risk of falling or getting stuck in unstable areas is also an ongoing concern. This hiking trail may have angel in the name, but one misstep and you may see an angel in the afterlife. This trail is located in Zion National Park in Utah, USA, at about an altitude of 450 meters, and it's a 4-kilometer narrow trail. And yes, people have fallen off the edge before, because there's no railings which you can cling to if you trip. At one point, the path is only 60 centimeters wide. If you want to hike here, there are a few warnings you'd better follow. The main one is, of course, that you should not hike here when there's snow or ice on this trail. Again, there's no safety barrier. One misstep and you fall into an abyss. New Surma Beach is a place in the American state of Florida and is known as the beach where the most shark attacks occur. According to several articles, the risk of being bitten by a shark here is greater than anywhere else in the world. The beach looks breathtaking, but you better think twice before you decide to go into the water. However, some people decide to do this anyway because it's a very popular place for surfers. When you walk on the beach, there are several signs warning you how dangerous sea creatures can swim in the water. As much as 25% of the shark attacks in the world occur at this beach. Although the number of shark bites this year is lower than in previous years, this place is still not recommended. When you think of classic swings in a playground or backyard, cat tire swings are one of the first things you probably think of. The cost of these is low, and they are easy to build. So the question is, what makes them so dangerous? You have to be careful not to hang the tire on the wrong tree branch, because the tree branch might break, causing you to hurt yourself. Basically, car tires are made to absorb damage from the road. This means that the inside of the tire collects water and dirt, so it's a perfect place for mold and all kinds of other insects and mosquitoes. In some cases, the tire might even be so worn out that there's a rusty wire inside. Now that you know this, would you still want to rock on an old car tire?
Kalavantan Fort, located in India, is a popular yet perilous destination for adventure seekers. Its vertically carved rock stairs and challenging terrain make it a dangerous place to visit, especially without the proper equipment and guidance. Kalavantan Fort has a steep and intimidating ascent. Climbing these stairs requires a high level of physical fitness, agility, and certainly no fear of heights. A single misstep or loss of balance can result in a severe fall and injury. The weather conditions around Kalavantan Fort, however, can be unpredictable and quite challenging. Heavy rainfall can make the stairs slippery, increasing the risk of accidents. Thunderstorms, strong winds, and limited visibility can also make the climbing more perilous and further endangering visitors. To make matters even worse, it lacks safety infrastructure such as railings, ropes, or safety harnesses to assist climbers. Visitors are solely responsible for their own safety and must rely on their own skills and judgment.
Shark Alley is a small water passage between Dyer Island and Geyser Rock in Gansbai, South Africa. As you can already hear from the name, this is a place where there's sharks. Dyer Island has one of the most shark populations in the world, and Gansbai, which receives thousands of tourists each year, is known as the capital of great white sharks. This kind of tourism benefits the community. However, it also poses a threat to some locals, especially those who make a living from diving. People like Suviel Exalela have no other choice, because he has to support his family. He does this by hunting abalone. Unfortunately, he was attacked by a shark during one of his dives. In recent years, sharks have taken the lives of at least 4 divers who were working. The divers are certainly aware of the threats, but they had no other choice because they also have to make money.
With a name like the Boiling Lake, it goes without saying that this lake is extremely dangerous. The first thing you see is the vapor rising from the water like a cauldron, with an ominous air. The gases from the molten lava at the bottom escape directly through a crack. The Boiling Lake is located in an area known as the Valley of Desolation in Dominica. Getting there requires one of the most difficult hikes in the world, and without a guide, it's the dumbest thing you can do. After all, you don't want to go near it because even the rocks around it are slippery and super dangerous. It's unclear how deep the lake actually is, but it's also best not to find out. The Fanjingshan Mountain is located in China's Guizhou province at an altitude of 2,570 meters. It's the summit of the Wuling Mountains, which are also home to many different ethnic groups. The Fanjingshan is a sacred mountain in Chinese Buddhism. It's regularly visited by emperors and Buddhist pilgrims. Tourists who want to visit the mountain can go up by cable car, or they can go on foot, climbing over 8,000 steps in 4 to 5 hours. It can be challenging, but the scenery in Fanjing is incredibly beautiful. It's also the largest well-preserved forest that was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2018. On the mountain, you will find more than 800 different plant species, including 15 protected species such as the dove tree, which blooms in the shape of a dove, but you can also have the Chinese tulip tree here. It's also the only place in the world where you can find the rare golden monkey of Guizhou. The waters off the coast of Somalia, particularly in the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean, have gained notoriety for piracy activities. These areas are considered extremely dangerous for navigation, and ships are advised to steer clear of them. Somali waters have witnessed a significant increase in pirate attacks on commercial vessels, fishing boats, and pleasure craft. Armed pirates, often operating from small skiffs or larger hijacked vessels, target ships for hijacking, cargo theft, or kidnapping crew members for ransom. The vastness of the Indian Ocean, the proximity of the Somali coastline, and the presence of numerous small islands and narrow shipping routes provide ample hiding spots and opportunities for pirates to launch attacks. The lack of a strong and effective security presence in Somalia has exacerbated piracy. Moreover, ship hijackings and cargo theft can result in significant financial losses for ship owners and operators. The Mono Lake in California is one of the oldest lakes in the United States, and also one of the most dangerous. This is because the water flowing towards this lake has no way out. There would also be large amounts of salt in the lake, making it almost 3 times as salty as normal ocean water.
Those trying to swim here could easily float on the water, but this isn't recommended. It's said that a special type of bacteria has been found in the water that inhales toxic elements to survive. And the only organisms that live here are brine shrimp, algae, and alkali flies. Flocks of birds are only too happy to come across here to pick up the brine shrimp, but birds also have to be careful, because drinking this water from the lake is deadly to them. The Bolton Strid is nothing more than a small river about 6 feet or 2 meters wide. The water may look calm, but beneath the stream hides something dangerous. So dangerous, in fact, that no one has ever survived. The river is located between Barton Tower and Bolton Abbey in Yorkshire, England. The Bolton Strid is only knee-deep, and this is also the reason why some tourists jump into the water from the rocks. It may not be deep, but all around the area there are signs saying to never enter the water. This is because there's powerful currents flowing in a network of tunnels. If you slip and fall into the water, you will be immediately sucked into the underwater caves. As I've said before, anyone who jumped into the river unknowingly never made it out alive. Boa Viagem Beach in Brazil is a beach that breaks a lot of records. This 7-kilometer-long beach has a 37% mortality rate when it comes to shark attacks. This is pretty high when you realize that the average worldwide mortality rate is about 16%. Boa Viagem is located in Recife, the 5th largest city in Brazil. This place should be considered one of the most beautiful places in the world. Instead, it's considered one of the most dangerous. These shark-infested waters are terrifying. Somehow, Recife's shark population has evolved to demonstrate more aggressive behavior than anywhere else in the world. Along the coast, there's also a deep gully that runs parallel to the beach. Sharks use this gully as a migration route. In fact, the waters are so dangerous that lifeguards no longer do training on the beach itself. Sopai in Coconina County, Arizona is one of the most remote communities in the United States. You can only reach it by walking, by mule, or by helicopter. The place is 13 miles away from the nearest roads, and there are no cars in the community. The animals are used to transport food and other things such as mail. Sopai is the only place in the United States where mail is still carried by mules. As of 2010, only 208 people live in this area. But Sopai was not always like this. In August of 2008, heavy rains came and partially flooded the area. Their nearby Redlands Dam could not handle the high volume of water either. Roads, bridges, and campgrounds were severely damaged. As a result, residents from Sopai were forced to evacuate, and some people therefore didn't return. The Eagle's Nest sinkhole is also called the Mount Everest of cave diving because it's only for professional divers. It may look like an ordinary pond hidden among some trees in the Chassahowitzal Wildlife Management Area in western central Florida, but it's called a sinkhole for a reason. Below the surface, there's a circular hole with rocky underwater corridors, which goes to a depth of about 91 meters. In some parts, it even goes up to 315 meters deep. Since 1981, 10 dive experts have gotten lost in the underwater corridors, and they couldn't find their way back. In October of 2016, the 2 of them were found at a depth of 79 meters. The reason for this often has to do with that they don't have enough oxygen in their oxygen bottles. Also, some divers who are not experienced enough go too far deep, which can cause problems. Trolltunga is located in the Norwegian province of Vestland and is one of the most breathtaking cliffs in Norway. This rock formation lies at an incredible 1,100 meters above sea level. The stone plateau called Trolltunga hangs about 700 meters above the nearest lake and is said to have formed about 10,000 years ago during the last ice age. If you want to visit this place, you have to endure a strenuous hike that starts around 10 a.m. and can only be done between March and October with a guide. If you want to do it without a guide, then this is only open from June to September, because then there's no snow and the path is safer to walk. The reason why this place is dangerous is because there's been several instances where people stand too close to the edge of the rocks and they fall off. Many people like to go to the beach in the summer, but you'll probably change your mind when you find out that 500,000 other people had the same idea that day. This is Demisha Beach, one of the largest beaches in Shenzhen in China. It was officially opened in 1999, and since then it's attracted a large number of people every summer. As a result, this beach is known as the most overcrowded beach in the world. Due to the crowds, it's easy to get lost or to find your friends and family again. Therefore, it's not recommended to let children play in the water alone. With so many people, the beach will also quickly become polluted. Think, for example, of waste from food and drink to inflatable toys. Would you want to go to this beach if it was so crowded? Let me know in the comments. Komodo Island is one of the last places on Earth you want to be. But why? Because it's full of hundreds of the world's largest lizards, the Komodo dragon. They can reach a length of over 3 meters long, with a weight of over 170 kilograms. In addition, they can climb trees, run at speeds of more than 20 kilometers per hour, and eat up to 80% of their body weight in a single meal. Their teeth are particularly jagged and sharp, and their saliva is poisonous, so this is the reason why it's better not to visit this island. But if you do, be very careful. A 31-year-old man named Muhammad who lived on the island decided to go into the area where the Komodo dragons were to pick some fruit from the trees. The Komodo dragons waited for him, like vultures, until he fell out of the tree. I think you can guess what happened next. The Rover's Run Trail in Alaska is dangerous because you can encounter hundreds of hungry bears on this trail. It's located on the outskirts of the city in Anchorage, where you probably don't like to go for a walk. Here at Rover's Run, the presence of bears is caused by the large salmon population in the South Fork Campbell Creek. Therefore, there's always bears around hunting for a tasty fish. There have now been numerous attacks by grizzly bears and brown bears on cyclists, runners, and hikers. For safety reasons, local authorities considered closing the trail to the public altogether. But in the end, they decided against it. Daredevils themselves should be wise enough to skip past this trail, don't you think?
The Darien Gap is a densely forested and nearly impassable region, located between Panama and Colombia. It's known for its extreme danger and inhospitable conditions, making it one of the most treacherous places on Earth. The Darien Gap is covered by vast and dense rainforests, presenting numerous challenges to travelers. The thick vegetation, combined with the lack of established roads or infrastructure, makes navigation extremely difficult. The absence of clear paths and the risk of getting lost in the jungle's labyrinth enhance the dangers associated with crossing this area. The Darien Gap has a reputation for being a hub of criminal activities, including illicit substances and illegal immigration. Armed groups such as drug cartels and guerrilla factions operate in the area, making it highly unsafe for travelers. The presence of these criminal elements increase the risk of violent confrontations or becoming a victim of robberies or kidnappings. Additionally, the area is characterized by rugged terrain, swamps, rivers, and marshy areas, posing significant physical challenges. Crossing these obstacles carries risks such as drowning, encounters with dangerous wildlife, and diseases from insects and other creatures in the area.
Adventure Playground is a playground in Berkeley, California, that first opened its doors in 1979. The playground equipment at the playground is made from recycled materials by kids for kids. This may sound great until you discover that there are nails, scrap metal, and trash everywhere. So it's recommended that you wear good shoes because of the amount of loose nails on the ground. Not to mention all the boards with splinters. This playground does have personnel on site, and they will offer you tools to help you build something. The purpose of this playground is to stimulate children's creativity and problem-solving skills, and allow them to play in such environments. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. The second longest river in Hawaii is the Wailuku River. It flows through a waterfall known as the Boiling Pots. It's not called that because the water's hot, but because during heavy rain, the river rises, making it look like the water's boiling. The water level at the Boiling Pots is unpredictable. Floods can occur, and you certainly wouldn't want to get caught in them because you could get stuck down there too. This is because under the water there's caves and lava tubes created by the Mauna Loa volcano. In 2015, a woman was swept by these rapids. The area's off limits, but the woman decided to go swimming with her friend anyway. Her friend fortunately survived, but the woman did not. It took rescuers several days to find her because of the continuous heavy flooding. The Red Sea is known for its vibrant and varied marine life, but in the Egyptian town of Dahab, there is an undersea sinkhole called the Blue Hole, also known as the Diver's Graveyard. The Blue Hole is about 120 meters deep. There are two sections, one called the Saddle and another 26-meter-long tunnel known as the Ark. You might guess that many people have tried to go through this tunnel. This is also the main reason why the Blue Hole has cost many divers' lives in recent years, because divers simply can't make it back to the surface to swim. If you descend to the bottom, you can also get nitrogen narcosis, where it causes physical disorders and hallucinations. Would you ever dare to swim that deep? Let me know in the comments. The next place on this list is La Rinconada, located in the Peruvian Andes Mountains, at an altitude of 5,100 meters above sea level. This makes it the highest place on Earth where people can actually live. The only road to this town is a side road with a lot of rocks, dirt, and sometimes ice. Because of the altitude and the challenging road, it takes several days to reach this destination. The main source of income in the area is gold mining, where they still use an old system called cacharillo. The people here are looking for ore, a kind of mineral, for 30 days without any payment, and on the last day, they are allowed to take as much as they can carry. Whether the ore has gold is based on luck. The average temperature here is around 1 degree Celsius, with the usual snowfall, and from time to time there are extremely cold nights. Because of the high altitude the people live at, there is a low oxygen content, which can lead to health problems, such as having oxygen deficiencies. The Dumas Beach, located on the Arabian Sea in South Gujarat, India, is popular not only because of the black sand, but also because of rumors that it's haunted. The beach is even known as one of the spookiest places in India. Hordes of tourists visit the beach every day, but as the sun sets and it darkens, people begin to leave the place. According to local stories, everything disappears on the beach while other people go home with the most scary stories. Locals say the Dumas Beach was once a Hindu cemetery and would be home to several spirits still haunting the place. There's also beliefs that the reason for the black sand has to do with supernatural events. Other people who don't believe in these kinds of stories say nothing strange happens when they're at the beach. Still, I would skip this place personally, because you never know. Long ago, during the Cretaceous period, there existed on Earth a place filled with danger and mystery: the Kemkem Beds. They're now located in southeastern Morocco. But during the Cretaceous period, approximately 100 million years ago, the Kemkem Beds were part of an extensive river system flowing through a lush landscape. This ecosystem hosted a diverse range of flora and fauna, including terrifying predators and enormous herbivorous dinosaurs. One of the most striking discoveries in the area is the abundance of fossils belonging to the fearsome Spinosaurus. With its sail-like structure on its back and a long crocodile-like snout, this dinosaur was a top predator of its time. There were also more massive and various species of crocodiles. Fast forward to the present day, and the Kemkem Beds are no longer the treacherous landscape they once were. Today, the area is a desert region that attracts both tourists and paleontologists. While the Kemkem Beds themselves are not inherently dangerous, the harsh desert environment can pose challenges for those venturing into this remote area. Extreme temperatures, limited resources, and rugged terrain require careful preparation and vigilance when exploring the area. The Nica Crystal Cave is a crystal cave at a depth of 300 meters in the Mexican city of Nica. In the year 2000, a mining company discovered crystals that are among the largest in the world. The temperature here is not as cold as you think. At first sight, it looks like crystals, but it's not. It's selenite, a kind of gypsum crystals. Some of the crystals in the cave are between 6 and 11 meters. Some of the crystals in the cave are between 6 and 11 meters long, with a thickness of 1 meter. The cave is located under the mountain of Sierra de Nica, and is an extremely hot place with temperatures up to 58 degrees Celsius. Also, the humidity is almost 100%, which means that if you're here too long, moisture can get into your lungs, which could be lethal. The reason for the heat is because magma hides under the caves. Without protection, people shouldn't be here for more than 10 minutes. Hawaii is an archipelago belonging to the United States and is known for its beautiful beaches and its volcanoes. However, these beaches are black, and this is mainly due to the Kilauea volcano, one of the most active volcanoes on the island. These beaches were formed by the cooled lava from the eruptions of the volcanoes. The most popular black sand beach is Punalu's Beach. Tourists who want to swim in the water are advised to wear water shoes because the black sand gets hot quickly. Also, there would be strong currents from time to time, making the water unsafe. The biggest reason, of course, are the volcanoes in the area that can erupt at any time. So this is definitely something to think about before you decide to book your next vacation to Hawaii. Were you ever afraid of quicksand as a child? The next thing I'm going to show you is 10 times worse. In fact, when you step onto this particular mud beach in Turnagain Arm, Alaska, it may be the last thing you do. At first glance, it may look harmless. At low tide, the beach is, but when the tide comes in, it's extremely dangerous. Anyone who steps on the mud at the wrong time gets stuck. The beach contains a quicksand like silt. The more you move, the deeper you get, until you're finally stuck. It literally takes teams of rescuers to pull someone out, but even then, survival isn't guaranteed. The following trail is fearfully considered one of the most dangerous trails in the world. Located in the Tianmen National Park in China, this very winding road of over 11 kilometers has the staggering number of 99 sharp turns. They lead to the top of the mountain where the Tianmen Cave is located, which is also known as the Gate of Heaven. When you think about it, the reputation of the Tianmen Mountain Trail is not surprising. Before you reach the top, there are a lot of dangerous turns preceding it. There's a lot of turns to survive, with only a few feet of space to spare you from certain doom. The highest point of the road is no less than 1,300 meters above sea level. The road starts at an altitude of 200 meters. Sure, the vast views of nature in front of you and below you are breathtaking, but if you lose your grip with your feet, your eyes wander off the path, or you just get a little confused, it's a very long way to fall down.
The Javari Valley, located in the western Amazon rainforest, houses one of the largest concentrations of uncontacted tribes in the world. These tribes have chosen to remain isolated from the outside world. They're highly protective of their territories and often view outsiders as a threat. The Javari Valley is characterized by its remote location, lacking basic infrastructure such as roads and hospitals. The Amazon rainforest is also known for its diverse and sometimes dangerous wildlife. The Javari Valley is no exception, with species like jaguars, venomous snakes, and aggressive insects. Moreover, the region is prone to mosquito-borne diseases like malaria and dengue fever. As if it wasn't already a challenging landscape, the dense surroundings of the Javari Valley rainforest offer natural hazards such as sudden floods, landslides, and treacherous terrain. The area is also plagued by illegal activities, including smuggling, illegal logging, and illegal gold mining. These activities attract criminal elements to the area, potentially leading to encounters with armed groups and an increased risk of violence.
I think everyone has probably played on a merry-go-round, because they can usually be found in most playgrounds. As you know, this piece of playground equipment can make you uncontrollably dizzy. You step on, sit down on it, and let someone else spin you around. However, this piece of playground equipment is increasingly being banned. This is because if you lose your grip, you can fall off at a tremendous spinning speed and hurt yourself. So several playgrounds have decided to remove the merry-go-round because it's simply unsafe. Other people would like this piece of playground equipment to stay, but it just requires more adult supervision. Covering approximately 52 square miles, or 84 square kilometers, Lake Berryessa is the largest lake in the US state of California. It's a favorite place to relax for friends and families in the area. There's many things to do in the lake, including fishing, kayaking, wildlife watching, and even jet skiing. There's only one thing you better not do, and that's swim at Monticello Dam. Here you'll find a glory hole where excess water is drained. Needless to say, no one wants to go near this 13.5-mile or 22-meter wide hole. Unfortunately, there was once one person who did decide to swim here and ended up inside the glory hole. Although witnesses told her to get out of the water, the woman didn't listen. Chernobyl is known as the worst nuclear disaster in history. The explosion at the infamous Reactor 4 in 1986 caused an entire town to have to be evacuated. To this day, the area is dangerously radioactive, and several areas strictly forbidden to be near. Nevertheless, a Russian YouTuber named Kryosin decided to explore the nuclear reactor together with some friends. They found a secret entrance that led to an underground network that was underwater. This water, as you can guess, is radioactive and is therefore not advisable to go in. However, this YouTuber decided to put on a fishbowl-like helmet and take a dip in the water anyway. As far as I've been able to find, the man is fortunately still okay. Nearby, you also have the Pripyat River, which is said to be home to mutant catfish and other large fish. Chambal Ghati, also known as the Chambal Ravines, is a rugged region located in central India, primarily consisting of parts of Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Chambal Ghati has a long history of lawlessness and banditry. The region was once notorious for the activities of bandits who operated in the ravines and carried out kidnappings, robberies, and violent actions. While the situation has improved over the years, remnants of criminal elements still exist, potentially making it dangerous for unsuspecting visitors. The terrain consists of deep ravines, dense vegetation, and winding rivers. The challenging landscape and lack of proper infrastructure make it difficult to enter and navigate the area. The isolation can be a deterrent to law enforcement and emergency services, potentially delaying assistance in emergencies. Chambal Ghati also hosts a diverse range of wildlife, including mugger crocodiles and endangered species like gorile and Indian skimmer. The socioeconomic conditions in the region, combined with a history of social unrest, can contribute to a tense environment with occasional violence. Land and resource disputes often tend to escalate into conflicts, further amplifying the overall perception of danger. Agoshima is a volcanic island and is under the control and administration of Tokyo, Japan. It's the most isolated island of the Izu archipelago, where people actually live. The island is in the middle of a volcano, which Japan still considers active, meaning it can erupt at any time. One of the biggest eruptions happened in 1785. Because some people find it too scary to stay on the island, they have moved away. In 2014, a census was taken there, and only about 170 residents were on the island. Despite being a dangerous place to live, it does offer many places to fish, hike, camp, and swim. The island also has geothermal energy that is perfect for saunas. Would you want to live in the middle of an active volcano? Let me know in the comments. The Citarium is the largest and longest river in West Java, located in Indonesia. It's said to be the most polluted river in the world. However, for the 25 million inhabitants who live along the river, Citarium is very important. They depend on the river for the crops, washing their clothes, bathing, and even drinking. As you might guess, many residents get infections and scabies as a result. According to a local doctor who researched this, 60% of his patients living in the area would become seriously ill. In fact, he says the pollution is so bad that it could change people's genes. How bizarre is that? Every day, about 20,000 tons of waste and 340,000 tons of wastewater, mainly from textile factories, are discharged into the river. Some locals even say that they had to give up their jobs as fishermen in order to eventually do another job, such as a garbage man. Fraser Island is known for its tropical beaches, and it's said to be the largest sand island in the world. This beach is located off the coast of Australia and is about 122 kilometers long. The surrounding area consists of mangrove forests, rainforests, and dune landscapes, and it's also home to aggressive dingo dogs. These dogs are wild, and their way of life resembles that of a wolf. They can also be extremely aggressive towards people, so beware and stay away from them if you can. It's also said that on every square meter of the land, there is a poisonous spider. The most common species here is the tunnel web spider. The venom of this spider is very poisonous and can be deadly. There's also 18 species of snakes, 6 of which are extremely dangerous. But that's not the only thing to watch out for, because the water is full of deadly jellyfish and sharks. So it's obvious that Fraser Island is not really a place if you want to enjoy a day in the sun. Imagine this. You have time off from school, and your parents take you to the playground. You want to run to your favorite playground equipment, but realize that the slide ends up in a 10-foot or 3-meter deep pit. This is what happened in the summer of 2012, at a playground in the Russian city of Tolyatti. Construction workers were digging in the ground to reach the sewer pipe under the playground. However, they forgot to properly seal off the area, so the playground was still accessible. Now, I also found 2 other slides on Google that I had to share with you. The next slide is on the roof of a building, somewhere in the Chinese province, Shandong. And in this picture, we see a slide built in a very strange place. No idea if these are real, but I'm pretty sure no one wants to go down these slides. The Amazon rainforest covers an area of 4.8 million square miles, or 7.7 million square kilometers, and a variety of wild animals live here. But the Amazon also has hundreds of sandy beaches, and in the water you can find green anacondas, piranhas, electric eels, and even bull sharks. But also the candiru, a parasitic fish that can invade the human body. There's also pesky mosquitoes flying around that carry diseases like malaria that can endanger your life. So it goes without saying that these beaches are best to be skipped. Or at least think about it carefully before you decide to visit the Amazon rainforest. Storkfontein is a cave located south of Johannesburg in South Africa and is considered very dangerous. The cave is known for its enormous amount of fossils of humans and animals. One of the discoveries that researchers had found was a 2.3 million old fossil of the Australopithecus africanus, an extinct humanoid that was given the name Mrs. Pless. When this became known, several scientists decided to travel to the cave to study it, but they encountered a dangerous problem. To enter a certain part of the cave, you have to go 60 meters underground where the average temperature is around 18 degrees Celsius. Eventually, you will come to water that leads to underground passages and pools where you can easily get lost. The US state of Utah is home to a lot of super dangerous hikes. The most dangerous one in Utah is the Maze in Canyonlands National Park. It's safe to say that this hike is not suitable for beginners. It stretches for about 12 kilometers, and even experienced experts have a hard time. But what exactly is the danger, you're obviously asking yourself now. For one thing, help is hours if not days away. Furthermore, the temperature can reach as high as 45 degrees Celsius in the summer, while water is very rare there. It's not called a maze without reason. There's a lot of side canyons, making it easy to get lost and lured away from the main trail. The GPS system there is unreliable to say the least. The trail's also not just a one-day trip, but requires at least 3 days. So hiking in groups is also strongly recommended. La Arroya was once home to a major smelting and mining complex that released significant amounts of toxic substances into the air, water, and soil. Pollution from heavy metals, including lead, arsenic, and cadmium, had caused several health issues in the population. Prolonged exposure can lead to respiratory problems, neurological disorders, and serious consequences. La Arroya consistently ranks as one of the most polluted places in the world, making it a hazardous environment for both residents and visitors. The high levels of pollution have had a devastating impact on the well-being of the local community. Children are particularly vulnerable to the adverse effects of heavy metal exposure, which can hinder their physical and cognitive development. Despite the health risks associated with pollution, the availability of adequate healthcare services in La Arroya is limited. Lake Victoria, one of the greatest lakes in Africa, has set many records, including the largest lake in Africa by area, and the world's second largest freshwater lake. Unfortunately, this lake also has the highest drowning rate in the world. It's estimated that more than 5,000 people drown in its waters each year. Lake Victoria is also often described as the most dangerous waters in the world. This is because the water can get very rough because of bad weather. Most of the people who drowned here were fishermen who couldn't swim, but still needed to make money. In addition, among them, there's also a great lack of life-saving equipment, such as life jackets. The Ponani Beach was created as a result of a volcanic eruption. This beach is located in Malappuram, Kerala, which is in India, and quickly became a popular tourist destination. When it rained heavily in 2018, a narrow strip of sand was created by Mother Nature almost a mile or a kilometer long. So no, it wasn't Moses who caused the sea to be split in two. As you could guess, everyone wanted to experience this natural phenomenon up close and immediately. However, the authorities were concerned about people's safety. After all, the beach is known for its rough waters and unpredictable high tides. Unfortunately, in 2009, someone drowned while venturing onto the sand strip. The sand strip may look beautiful, but even the locals warned people to be careful when they decide to go into the water. In 1945, during World War II, a group of hundreds of Japanese soldiers became trapped on the island of Ramri in the Bay of Bengal. What they found here is known as one of the most horrific events in history. The British troops surrounded the Japanese from one side, and to get to the other side, there's a swamp in the way. The Japanese decided to go through the swamp, but what they found there were giant saltwater crocodiles. Some of them were as large as 6 meters and extremely aggressive. According to the story, the soldiers tried to hide in the swamp where the crocodiles were lurking. It's thought that more than 500 Japanese soldiers had not survived. In addition, the island is also teeming with poisonous snakes and scorpions. Not really an island you want to visit. Everyone knows the Amazon, the second largest river in the world that flows through Peru, Brazil, Bolivia, Colombia, and Ecuador. This river also runs through the Amazon rainforest and is home to many poisonous animals such as snakes and frogs. But one of the most dangerous places in the Amazon is the Madidi National Park. This park is located in the upper part of the Amazon in Bolivia and has an area of 19,000 square kilometers. It's not recommended to go here because this protected area is home to some of the most dangerous plants and animals. The plants that grow here are very poisonous, and if you get cut, there's also a big chance that parasites will attack the cut. There's also giant poisonous spiders walking around, so it's definitely a place to think twice about before visiting. Hawaii is one of the ultimate vacation destinations. Beautiful nature, and as a hiker, of course you would stay for the Kalalalu Trail. Here are steep cliffs, slippery trails, a treacherous jungle, and narrow roads. The Kalalalu Trail on the Napali coast on the small island of Kauai in Hawaii is certainly one of the most beautiful places in the world. But part of its beauty comes from the fact that it's also very dangerous. You start the hike at Kea Beach. From there, the trail runs 17 kilometers along the coast. The trail takes you through all kinds of challenges. The jungle, the jagged coastline, over the narrow and rugged trails, past steep cliffs and falling rocks and currents that can pull you into the ocean. This route has already cost the lives of many people. While the best hikers could walk the trail in one day, most take 2 or 3 days to complete it safely. The Kipu Falls in Kauai, Hawaii became popular because of the small inflected spot where it's located, and it looks beautiful for swimming at first. But since 5 people have disappeared in the water, the area with a beautiful waterfall is considered a dangerous place. One of the stories that goes around is about swimmers jumping from the waterfall into the water. As soon as they get into the water, there could be a possibility that they could be pulled away 6 meters down by some kind of current. Other people who did get out of the water were completely tired and could just reach the side. Locals who are superstitious think there's a Hawaiian underwater spirit lizard living in the waterfalls that causes this. It seems to me that there's a rather powerful vortex under the water, but the government of Kauai says that nothing strange has been found. As such, Kipu Falls remains a mystery to both locals and tourists who decide to go there. Another interesting fact is that this swimming spot was used as a filming location in the film Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Daintree River is a river in far North Queensland, Australia, that is not known for its beauty, but for its terrifying abundance of aggressive saltwater crocodiles. Saltwater crocodiles are known as the largest and most dangerous species of crocodile. They're also one of the oldest creatures on Earth, having originated over 240 million years ago, during the Mesozoic era. The river's become a tourist attraction, and experts say that you're playing with your own life if you ever jump into the water here. This is because these saltwater crocodiles are super large. The female crocodiles can grow over 3 meters long, but the males are as much as 5 to 6 meters long. If you do end up in the river, it may be that a huge crocodile will chase you continuously until he gets you. The river is also about 100 kilometers from Cairns, which is on the UNESCO list as a protected site. The Korowai are tribal people from southeast Papua New Guinea and are known for living above the forest in tree houses. In the early days, their houses had to be made in the trees because this was the way they could easily protect themselves from other rival tribes. They raised their houses about 9 meters off the ground by using sturdy long poles of a special kind of wood. Also, this kind of wood could withstand fire. There's a rumor that the Korowai also like human flesh, but according to researchers who have studied them closely, this is just a made-up story. In reality, their diet consists mainly of forest larvae, fish, and plants. I do have to say that it's pretty clever to make a house so high up in the trees, and yet also quite frightening if you actually have to spend the night there. I can already see you thinking, snakes at a playground? What are they doing there? And yes, this really happened at an anonymous playground in the United States. According to various stories, the playground had been troubled by snakes before, when one day, the principal of the school in the neighborhood walked by the playground. She saw a 6-foot or 1.5 meter long snake. It was said to be hiding somewhere near an area containing a lot of sand. She had no idea if the snake was poisonous or not, but when she called someone to catch it, they found out that it was an extremely dangerous snake. The expert also told her that a week before, they had been called in to remove a python. Fortunately, this doesn't happen very often, but it seems pretty terrifying to find a snake at your favorite playground, don't you think?
Annapurna, Nepal is a breathtaking region that attracts adventurous souls from around the world. While it offers stunning mountain views and unparalleled trekking opportunities, it's also known for its dangers. Firstly, it hosts some of the world's highest peaks, including the mighty Annapurna, standing at an astounding elevation of over 5,000 miles or 8,000 meters. The extreme altitude poses a big risk to both climbers and trekkers. Altitude sickness, also known as acute mountain sickness, is a common and potentially life-threatening condition that can occur when the body fails to adapt to the reduced oxygen levels at high altitudes. Symptoms range from mild headaches and dizziness to severe conditions like pulmonary and cerebral edema, which can be fatal if left untreated. Moreover, Annapurna's challenge and rugged terrain presents numerous hazards. The trail can be treacherous with steep ascents, narrow paths, and unstable footing. Avalanches pose a constant threat, especially during the winter and spring months, when there's significant snow on the slopes. The risk of landslides, rockfalls, and icefalls add to the dangers of navigating the region. Additionally, rapid weather changes, with sunny skies turning into violent storms within minutes, further contribute to the perils of this area. Which place would you like to visit someday? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.